All right, so what I'm going to look at today is all the angles which are created when a transversal cuts across two parallel lines. Okay, so a transversal is just a line which cuts across two or more lines. Okay, so in that diagram there, T is the transversal. It cuts across L and M. More specifically, I am interested in transversals which cut across two parallel lines. Okay, so L and M there are parallel. That's what those two arrows mean on the lines. Okay, and if you look, when you have a transversal cutting across two parallel lines, you have 8 angles created by that, and it's quite rich with relationships. There's quite a few different relationships would exist between the different angles, and that's what we're going to look at today. First, we're just going to go over what you know already, vertically opposite and supplementary angles, because there are some of those created when a transversal cuts across two parallel lines. Okay, so name the pairs of, we'll do the supplementary angles first. So remember, supplementary angles are two angles which add to 180. So they make up a straight angle. So on that diagram, 1 and 8 are supplementary. They're going to add to 180 degrees. 1 and 2 are also supplementary. They're going to add to 180. 2 and 7, supplementary as well. There's a straight angle. 7 and 8 are supplementary as well. What about down here? The first one I might say is 3 and 6 are supplementary. 3 and 4 are supplementary. 4 and 5 are supplementary. 5 and 6 are supplementary. Okay, so those 1, 2, 3 lines have created 8 pairs of supplementary angles I counted there. All right, let's find all the pairs of vertically opposite angles as well. So remember, your vertically opposite angles are, you're looking for that X shape where two lines intersect, and it's the ones across from each other. So 1 and 7 are going to be vertically opposite angles. So whatever those angles are, they are equal. 2 is vertically opposite to 8, so they're equal whatever they are. 3 is vertically opposite to 5, so they're equal. And 4 is vertically opposite to 6. Okay, so there's the supplementary and the vertically opposite angles which are created when a transversal cuts two parallel lines. What I'm going to move on to now is a couple of new angle types or new kind of relationships between angles. And the first one is corresponding angles. To find corresponding angles, you are looking for F shapes that those three lines make. Okay, so the most obvious one there is that F shape there. Okay, and the reason I say F shape and not any other letter is because this angle here I'm interested in, and this angle here. Okay, so 5 and 7 are corresponding angles, so the angles in the F like that, and they are equal. Okay, and you might notice that, look, like 5 is an obtuse angle, 7 is an obtuse angle, they look equal, but because those lines are parallel, you have that F shape with the transversal. Okay, they are corresponding angles and they are equal. Okay, so that's the most obvious F to find. Your F can also be back to front, so facing the opposite direction that I might expect. So if I draw that F there, okay, well, the angle 4 and the angle 2 are corresponding. So 2 and 4 there are equal because they are corresponding angles. Your F can also be upside down. So if I draw an F there, the angle 8 and the angle 6 are corresponding, so they are equal as well. That F then can be both upside down and facing the wrong way. So if I draw that F in there, the angle 1 and the angle 3 are also corresponding. So whatever the angle 1 is, angle 3 is equal to it. Okay, so there's your corresponding angles. All right, so to find corresponding angles, look for F shapes. There's the original diagram. There's all the corresponding angles we find in it. Okay, and I will put these slides, these notes up for you. These are all taken from the book anyway, but I'll put them up so you have them in one place. Alternate angles then. So to find alternate angles, you are looking for Z shapes. Okay, so a bit like the corresponding, the first one is quite straightforward to see. So what are the two angles inside the Z? That's angle 2 and angle 6. Okay, alternate angles are equal. So whatever angle 2 is, angle 6 is equal to it. Okay, and again, look, that's an acute angle. That's an acute angle. They do look equal. So once you kind of notice the relationship, you're going to figure out that it's equal. But yes, alternate angles inside those Z shapes are equal. The first one is maybe straightforward enough to notice. The other Z is a little bit trickier because it's I suppose back to front, and then it's kind of knocked over a little bit. So the other Z shape on this diagram is there, okay, and it's the 3 and the 7 that are kind of inside the Z here. You could kind of, if you straighten that up, you might see it a little bit better. But 3 and 7 there are alternate, which means they are equal. So whatever 3 is equal to, if you were given 3 in a question, you could say 7 is equal to it because they are alternate. So to find alternate angles, look for the Z shapes. There's my original diagram. There's the two pairs of alternate angles in that diagram. Again, I'll put these up for you. I would say corresponding and alternate are the two which kind of come up more often. You're expected to see and expected to use more often. Interior angles, a little bit less so, but you do still need to know it. To find interior angles, you're looking for a C shape. Okay, so your C will be quite angular. It won't be kind of curved, but because was the obvious one that you might see is that one there. And what are the two angles inside the C? It's angle 6 and it's angle 7. Now, if you look at those angles, 6 is acute and 7 is obtuse, so they're definitely not equal. So what can I say about interior angles? Interior angles always add up to 180 degrees. So angle 6 plus angle 7 is equal to 180 degrees. So let's say if I told you angle 6 was 60 degrees, then you would be able to tell me that 7 is 120 degrees. The other C then on that diagram is going back to front. So there it is. What are the angles inside the C? There and there. Okay, so angle 2 and angle 3 are interior angles, and interior angles add to 180 degrees. Okay, so this only holds when those two lines are parallel. All right, but 2 and 3 add up to 180 degrees. All right, so your interior angles on this 6 and 7, 2 and 3. So they're all the angles that we need to kind of know. Okay, supplementary, vertically opposite, corresponding, alternate, interior. All right, there's the pages they're on in the book. Here's just a quick summary for what we're looking for. So supplementary, they add to 180, they form a straight angle between them. Vertically opposite angles are equal, you're looking for the X shape and they're across from each other. Corresponding are equal, you're looking for the F shape. Alternate angles are equal, you're looking for the Z shape. Interior angles you're looking for the C shape, and interior angles add to 180 degrees. All right. Now, I'm going to give you a couple of questions to do in your book. I'm going to give you, I think it's question 3 on page 266. I'll put it up in the Schoology post anyway. But that question gives you a diagram and asks you to pick out all the corresponding alternate, vertically opposite, and supplementary angles on the diagram. Okay, so just to kind of start off a similar example. On this diagram here, let's find a pair of corresponding angles. So corresponding angles is your F shape. I'll start off by finding maybe one of the harder F's to find. So let's say the kind of upside down and backwards one is that F there. So 4 and 2 are a pair of corresponding angles. Okay, so down there at the table, you'll write 4 and 2. A pair of alternate angles. So alternate is your Z shape. So there's your Z. So what are the angles inside the Z? 3 and 6 are alternate angles. Okay, and there's another pair there as well. A pair of vertically opposite angles. Well, there's loads of them. There's 4, I think. But there's 2. Okay, so the angle 4 and the angle 7, they're vertically opposite. And then a pair of supplementary angles, so 2 angles which make up a straight angle. 8 and 7 together are supplementary. Okay, so I want you to do that for page 266, question 3. The table underneath it doesn't seem to give you too much space. I want you to find all the pairs of supplementary angles, all the pairs of vertically opposite angles, etc. So there's only space for maybe 3 on the table. In the book, I want you to find all the possible pairs. Okay, so for corresponding, there should be 4 pairs. For alternate, 2 pairs. For vertically opposite, there should be 4 pairs. And for supplementary, you should be able to find 8 pairs of supplementary angles on that diagram. All right, so that's page 266, question 3. I'm also going to give you some questions to do on page 268. So just to look at an example which is a little bit like those. So the diagram there shows 2 parallel lines with a transversal crossing them, and it just gives me one angle. Okay, so it gives me A, it kind of starts the ball rolling, and then it wants me to figure out the other angles. Now, what I would say is they're all going to be 60 or 120, and it's pretty obvious from the diagram which ones are 60 and which ones are 120. All right, but if you look at the question, it says find all the remaining angles and explain your answer. So it wants a reason. Okay, it wants one of those keywords that we've looked at today: supplementary or corresponding, etc. All right, so let's just run through this one. So we'll do them in order. So angle B, how big is that? It's 120. Why is it 120? Because it is supplementary with the angle A. All right. Next one then. Angle C, how big is that? It is 60. Why is it 60? Well, you could give 2 different reasons. It's vertically opposite A, or it is supplementary with B. Next one then alphabetically is D. Only way I can tell what D is for now is that it's interior with C. So C and D need to add to 180. You've said C is 60, so D must be 120. Next one is E. A couple of different ways you could answer E. You could either say it's supplementary with D, or you've got that F shape there. So you could say it is corresponding to C, so they must be equal. Next one is F. Okay, you can say F is vertically opposite D, so they're equal, so they're both 120. Or you can say it's supplementary with E, so they add to 180. Next one then is G. Okay, loads of different ways you can say how big G is. It's corresponding with A, you've got that F shape. It's, if you look for the Z shape, it's equal to C. They're alternate, or there's other ways as well. H then is 120, And there's a few different ways you can do that: vertically opposite, supplementary, etc.